Hi, this is Zibby Owens, and you're listening to the award-winning podcast, Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. I'm also the host of Moms Don't Have Time to Lose Weight, and I'm the editor of the anthology, which you should run out and buy, called Moms Don't Have Time to, a Quarantine Anthology. All proceeds of that book go to COVID-19 vaccine research. And I'm the editor-in-chief of Moms Don't Have Time to Write, a new publication on Medium, and we're accepting submissions, so please send your personal essays there. And if all that isn't enough, you can follow me on Instagram at Zibby Owens, and my website is zibbyowens.com. Okay, now back to this amazing podcast. Kimberly McCreight is the author of Friends Like These, a novel. She's the New York Times bestselling author of Reconstructing Amelia, which was nominated for the Edgar, Anthony, and Alex Awards, and was called Entertainment Weekly's favorite book of the year. Reconstructing Amelia has been optioned for TV by HBO, Nicole Kidman's Blossom Films, and David E. Kelley. McCreight's second adult novel, Where They Found Her, was a USA Today bestseller and a Kirkus Best Mystery of the Year. While her third, A Good Marriage, was named a Best Book of the Summer by the New York Times, People, and Publishers Weekly, it was also an Amazon Best Mystery of the Month. A TV adaptation of A Good Marriage is coming soon from Amazon and Nicole Kidman's Blossom Films. McCreight's most recent book, Friends Like These, was named a Good Morning America Buzz Pick and an Amazon Best Book of the Month. It will be adapted for TV by Amblin Television. McCreight is also the author of the New York Times bestselling young adult trilogy, The Outliers, which includes The Outliers, The Scattering, and The Collide, which are optioned for film by Lionsgate and Reese Witherspoon's Pacific Standard. She attended Vassar College and graduated cum laude from the University of Pennsylvania Law School. She currently lives in Brooklyn, New York.
How are you? It's great to see you.
It's great to see you too. Congratulations.
And congratulations on Zibby's books.
Yay.
Big news. Yay. Good for you.
Thank you. I'm really excited. Yeah, I'm just excited, and it's a really fun team, and we're going to have a lot of fun and make a difference, I hope. And yeah, I just can't wait. It's so fun.
Oh, awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, so your new book. Tell everybody what it's about and how you came up with this idea and the 10 friends and the whole thing, and let's get into it.
Yes. Friends Like These is about a tight-knit group of college friends who reunite 10 years after graduation to stage an intervention for one of their group. It's an intervention that quickly goes terribly wrong. When the book opens, a car has been found in the woods. One of the friends is dead inside. Another one is missing. And when the local detective shows up to investigate, it's clear that the rest of the friends are hiding something. So, the truth about what happened in the car is, a complicated mix of conflicts with the locals and also secrets that the friends have buried. And so the book is very much, I hope, an edge of your seat page turner, but it is also a commentary on friendship and particularly group dynamics and old friendships and the way friendships evolve over time and the complications of groupthink and the dangerous side of loyalty and things like that. So much in the way I did, or I hoped I did in A Good Marriage, kind of looking at the gray zone of marriage, this kind of looks at the gray zone of those close friendships.
Awesome. I loved A Good Marriage, as you know. We talked all about it at the time. It's funny, I just interviewed today this man named Billy Baker, who, if you haven't read his book, it's called We Need to Hang Out, but it's sort of this very funny referendum on male friendship and how we're all so busy that we don't make enough time for our friends and like how the importance of friendship. And now here, this is also about friendship and how the bonds can linger for so many years. But it sounds like, sometimes due to something traumatic happening to United Group or all other reasons, and how you can sort of jump back into it at a moment's notice, which is really crazy when you think about it, no matter how much time has gone by.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the book was definitely inspired by like my own tight-knit group of college friends who are still like my family. I mean, they are like the most present, consistent aspect of my life. I talk to them multiple times a week. And so, but I think it's an interesting thing, like as much as that creates this great sense of comfort and security, when it's a group, I think you can get like assigned a role in your group, like you're the fixer or you're the upbeat one or you're whatever. And I think that can be complicated.
So who are you in the group?
I was the responsible one.
Really? Okay.
Which is funny because I hope my friends are not listening because I'm probably going to say, no, she wasn't. But there's a character in the book, Stephanie, who's kind of the one that always is espousing like reasonable opinions. Now, again, like she's very flawed herself and makes a lot of bad choices, but that's really her assigned role, is to be the one who is there. And I was the one in college who was like in the library. You could find me studying late at night, things like that. That people came to for advice. Just to be clear, I'm not saying I had good advice to offer or I didn't have problems myself, but that's definitely the role I played for sure.
Wow. So do you feel like now that would you rather have another slot? Like you said, like they should change every time. Like what slot would you like today?
I kind of like that slot because it lets you feel morally superior. So it's kind of, I'm comfortable with my slot. I'm more talking about other people who might not want anymore to be the screw up or the role like that. Mine gives me some of the moral high ground. So I'm perfectly happy with it.
I know. I'm thinking now about my college girlfriends who I adore.
So what's your role in your group of friends? Because you have a tight knit group from college too, don't you?
I do. Yeah. Although we lost my friend Stacy, who was like such a piece, the glue, to the group and united so many of us. And she died on 9/11. And it's that through line has kept us close because we all went through that. But we're in a different form than we were. I don't know what they would say about my role. I don't know, actually.
You'll have to email them after the show. See, maybe you'll find out you're the fixer too, that you're the responsible.
I don't think so because I'm pretty sure I know who that was in my group, and that it wasn't me. So, and I know who the
cheerful. Maybe you were the upbeat one. You do have a really good vibe about you. So maybe that was you.
No, maybe. I don't know. I feel like I was always, though, kind of stressed and studying and, in the library really late. I mean, we all were studying, I guess, but I don't know. I also didn't used to like to drink during the day. And so that was not the coolest. I just never have really liked doing that. So
I love that that's the standard, day drinking.
Right? I mean,
you're just you weren't day drinking. So really what was the point?
Right. So that's what made me really studious.
Right. Just not excessive day drinking.
Yes, so, I was most restrained. I don't know. I wasn't, though. I don't know. Yeah, it's funny. I went to my reunion a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, and, some of them just, went out and, got sloshed at some party, and I was like, are you kidding? We're, 45 at this point. This is, crazy. What's going on? But, yeah, it's like coming home, right? You act like your old self a lot of the time.
That's right. Which is a lot in the book, is that, people revert to those roles, when with that group of people, they kind of,
sorry, were we talking about a book? Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I know. See, you and I are just it's just we're chatting, so we just forgot.
Sorry. But let's go back. Let's go back to the book. I'm sorry. Okay, tell me about writing this book and how long it took and what the whole process was like and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so it actually, I wrote it. I didn't write it quickly. I mean, usually it's probably the same time it takes me to write most books. So it was 18 months between this book being published and A Good Marriage, which is pretty typical for me. I do the first drafts rather quickly, 3 months, and then it's about 9 months or so of revising. It's not easy to keep that schedule. I just want to be clear. It's not I was
oh my gosh, 3 months, but that's fast.
I just sit down and it's just it comes out. I was talking to some, I forget who it was, some authors yeah, I just sit down and it just comes out. I'm yeah, no, no. So it's this, I'm making this sound easy. None of it's easy, as you know. So anyway, but that is kind of the process for me. I don't work from an outline. I do it. I start with my characters first and really write my way into the story. And that is a terrible method, but it is the only method I have. So meaning you waste time, I think to some extent, but I do think with an outline, you probably also waste time because you sit there and try to figure everything out. And then you realize once you go to write it, that's not going to work anyway. So, I think that no matter what your approach, you're going to end up, it's just, there's part of it's going to get thrown out. That's the reality of writing a book. So, so that it's about how long it took me. And it's definitely a complex narrative structure. It's got multiple narrators, but they really function as two narrators. There's the group of friends, and then there's the detective, and those are your two time frames. And so it alternates between those two. You get the different perspectives of the friends, but their timeline just moves forward. So I think it's a way to keep it more clear that way. And the big thing about this book is I really wanted to deliver a twist at the end, a really big twist. And I think all my books have twists to some extent, but this one has one at the end, really big one. And so I'm very excited about that because I very much wanted to do that.
Amazing. Yeah, I never see the ends coming. I'm like the worst reader in that regard. I'm like, or maybe the most gullible.
You're the best reader. That's the best reader. Are you kidding me? I'm always going to surprise you then. That's the best.
That's true. I'm like I'm like a cheap date when it comes to thriller. It's true. Well, that's awesome. No, I remember. And by the way, I don't think it's wasted. I mean, it just takes a lot of time to write a book. Like all of that is part of it. I think people beat themselves up thinking it's not, but like every single person I talk to is like, well, then I had to throw away these pages, or I tried this, and then I wrote this new draft, and I had to do this first, and like that's just what it is.
I think you're right. And I think the more that for like aspiring writers, I think the more that you can just consider that a piece of the process, like that's actually part of the book, even if it's thrown out, the less. Because I think people panic sometimes thinking what they're doing isn't any good, but like you have to do the not good before you can make it great. So like that is genuinely, as you said, part of the process for sure.
Yeah. So the advice is just keep on doing not great stuff.
Yes. Right. My biggest piece of advice for aspiring writers is like lower your standards. Just like really write like crap and just don't worry about it. And I think that's the advice a lot of people give, and just really just get it done, because you can't make it great if it's not there in the first place.
You heard it here first.
Yes.
Do a bad job and you will be successful.
Yes, well, you'll be totally crappy. That is my advice.
So are you already working on your next book?
Well, I've actually been working in part on the adaptation of Friends Like These. It's been optioned, and I'm working on it's been optioned by Steven Spielberg's Amblin Television for a series. And I'm working on the adaptation, so I've been spending some time doing that. But I am working on my next book, about 100 pages of it. And I've been calling it a reverse Reconstructing Amelia, which was my first book, because in this case, a college-age daughter comes back home from NYU to Park Slope for dinner, and her mother is missing. And so she has to piece together the truth of who her mother was. And as opposed to Reconstructing Amelia, it was a mother reconstructing her daughter's life. So it's really interesting to look at it that way, because my kids were so young when I wrote Reconstructing Amelia, and now they are, much older. And so it's a really, and I'm very excited about it.
So is this called Deconstructing Amelia?
No, my first one was Reconstructing Amelia. This doesn't have a title yet, so I'm still working on the title. But
you take that one if you want.
Yeah, I can. I'll try to. I think there might be a little confusion, but maybe it would be good.
Part 2. I mean, they do that with movies all the time. Back to the Future 1.
I'll just call it a sequel.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my gosh. So what are you most looking forward to on your tour this time? Are you doing live events? Are you doing all virtual events? Like, what are you excited about?
Yeah, so I was most excited about this, Zibby, and now
of course, right.
This was the top. I do really love this. I talked to Adriana Trigiani last night. I love talking to her. I love her. Yeah, so I did some incredible events with some amazing authors this time. I got to talk to Lucy Foley and Greer Hendricks and Christina Alger, and so getting to talk to them was like for Barnes & Noble and Amazon Live and then my launch. But to get to talk to them, and what's fun when you're on a virtual event with an author like that, it's like no one else is there. Like for you and I right now, it's just the two of us. It feels like just the two of us. So that was really fun, because it was just like talking shop with a bunch of authors who I hadn't known before, hadn't had a chance to meet. So that was a really great experience. But I have a couple in-person events. I did one at a library in Connecticut, which was the first I had done. I didn't get to do any with A Good Marriage. So I got to do my first in-person since, whatever my last book was, Before Good Marriage. And that was incredible to get to just see readers again and talk in front of them and like hear them laugh and get to do that all in person. So that was really special to be able to do that. And then I have one event at Litchfield Books in South Carolina, another live in-person event. So that's fun to get to do those also.
You should do like a little care package with A Good Marriage, right? I mean, just because it was during the pandemic, but that book was so good. You should like bring it out again. I know there's like
I know.
You always push the newest one, but it was really great. I don't know.
Yeah, it was really great. Well, I mean, hopefully the series is coming. Yeah. So that will kind of give it a chance to see the world in a different way.
Awesome. Well, I didn't mean to say this book was not also great. I just meant like if you could, bundle it up.
Yeah, no, right. Do a 2 for 1.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
Exactly.
Especially like authors like you who can turn books quickly, right? And, I don't know. It's good to keep them up in the rotation. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's like your children. You don't want your other children being forgotten. Definitely.
It's true. Although some days I want to forget some of my children, depending on what they do that morning,
That's a good point. That is also true. That is also true.
Oh my gosh. Well, congratulations on the book. Really exciting. And the adaptation and all of that. That's so cool. And yeah, just really excited to keep talking to you about all your great stuff.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for having me, and good luck with all your creative, so much stuff going on. So good luck with all of it, and good to have you back. I knew you were in LA, so it's good to have you back. Looks like you're back in New York, though. It looks like you're in New York.
I am. Yes. It's so crowded. Are you in New York? It's
like,
oh my gosh, it's never been so crowded. Or maybe I'm just like sensory overload. Yeah. I can't deal with the street. It's like people everywhere and traffic and
we're not used to it, right?
Oh my gosh. Last year it was so quiet here. There was no one here.
I know, because there was no one here.
I know. It was so nice. It was so nice. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, all right. We'll forge on. And,
all right. Great to see you.
Okay. Anyway, great to see you. And I'll talk to you later.
Thanks so much for having me.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Zibby Owens and at Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. Also sign up for my newsletter at zibbyowens.com and sign up for my virtual book club and meet lots of authors on Zoom every other week. Thanks so much to Steve and Ryan at Texture Sound for the sound editing. And thank you to Morning Moon Productions for providing this fantastic intro and outro music.